This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Do you belong here? Next to me, about to jump into the sea on an army coast-steering expedition. What's your gut saying? Walk away from the edge? Or jump in and join a team that'll be by your side for life? Still listening? You belong here. Army, recruiting now. Search Army jobs.
If you're dealing with dark spots on your skin, you're not alone. Over half of us are affected by hyperpigmentation. La Roche-Posay's advanced anti-dark spot routine is clinically proven to help. Mela B3 Serum utilizes Melasil to target and fade dark spots, while Anthelios UV Mune 400 Anti-Dark Spots SPF 50 helps to prevent new ones. Discover La Roche-Posay's new advanced anti-dark spot routine. Mela B3 Serum and Anthelios UV Mune 400 Anti-Dark Spots SPF 50.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital? Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411. It's finally happening.
Oh my gosh.
Talk to Jeff Kober. Amanda's still alive. Not creeped out.
He was what I expected.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. I could have talked to him for hours, but I was also good with just the hour that we got because he just seems like one of those people who is wise beyond their years, well, at least beyond my years. So I enjoy just hearing him talk. I feel like neither one of us were as chatty as we normally are in interviews.
Right.
Because just listening to him was like, oh my gosh, yes, just talk forever. And I mean, we summed up all I needed in the first 5 minutes.
Spoiler that yet? But yeah, I mean, he has so much, I don't want to say like he has so much life experience to share, but like he really does. Like he has a lot of, okay, I'm sorry. I still feel like I don't want to say he's close to Cyrus, but the way that Cyrus wasn't just surface.
Right. He
has
stopped putting himself into the characters, and you could feel that with Cyrus even more so as we spoke to him.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that Cyrus was 100% bad. I'm just saying that he was 98% bad. The intent is what matters in the end. And Cyrus's intent was bad. Jeff's intent is to help open your eyes to the world.
Cyrus's intent was not to be bad. He wanted to heal people. He wanted people to be at peace.
Even our good friend Jeff said he wanted power.
Right.
Which
intention is not, no. Intention is not the only thing that matters.
I'm going to agree to disagree with you there.
Serial killers intend to kill people.
Right. This is bad intent. So that makes them bad.
Because they just like to do it. So therefore they think it's a good intention.
They're wrong.
And they think, right. Because why? Their intention was not all that matters.
But their intention was what mattered.
No, actually,
they intended to kill and they carried it out with their actions. So their intention was wrong. No, because I did not intend to hurt you and accidentally hurt you. My actions were what was led to the wrong thing, but my intention is what mattered.
But the action is actually what mattered.
Yeah. You can't be mad at me even if I hurt you because my intention was not to hurt you.
That's what abusers say, Amanda. Yes. Definition of gaslighting. Well, I didn't mean to, but you did.
No more. Okay.
So next week when Amanda gets therapy.
I need some.
Don't look more into that. But anyway, in the meantime, listen to us talk to Jeff.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How you guys?
Good. I'm gonna change my name. So I'm Shannon.
Amanda.
It's Amanda.
Which one? Who's Shannon? This one? You're Shannon. You're Amanda. Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us.
Absolutely. You guys, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at your podcast at all. You do this once a week, twice a week?
So we do 2 episodes a week. The first one is on Monday, and it's a recap of previous week's shows. And then every Thursday, we do something called the Port Charles 411, where we either do interviews or we do storyline recaps, like we'll do character backgrounds. So like how Lucky Spencer just came back to the show. A lot of people probably started watching in the past 10 years that have no idea who Lucky is. So we fill him in on everything that Lucky's done since 1993.
Wow. Are you getting that from research or are you making it up?
Oh, no, we do research. We have a few resources. Sometimes we go to YouTube and watch things, but Lucky we're on part 25 of right now. So we're pretty much just doing more of...
Oh my God. You're serious about this stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, just a little bit. We've had our podcast. It'll be 6 years this April. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And you still like the show?
Oh, yeah. We've both been fans since teenagers. Yeah. So
fantastic. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you appreciating the show, even though I'm now gone.
I know. So it's funny. We've had a lot of people write in, like we have fans that write into us, and you creep Amanda out. That's Cyrus. You don't want a good job.
You mentioned that, yeah. That's why she hadn't said anything yet.
But we've had people say, like, you guys seriously need to interview him because we need to hear Amanda talk to him.
That's fantastic. Hi, Amanda.
Hey.
So do I remind you of some horrible person in your past or just...
No, you played Cyrus so well. And we've had so many arguments over Cyrus's character over the past few years that it really is just, that you play it so well. Like anytime that Cyrus would show a hint of being good, Shannon wanted him to be redeemed so bad. And so anytime that he would do the smallest good thing, she was like, see, I told you there's good in him. I see it. I know. And I was like, no, he's awful. He's a horrible person. He's not being redeemed. He's just getting better with the way that he's manipulating someone.
Yeah.
So,
apparently you're right. But,
thank you.
But
okay.
When the last couple of shows, when he explained why he was doing what he was doing, you believed him, right? Mm-hmm. He was sincere.
He thought that he was right.
He was doing the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yeah, but unfortunately, he was a serial killer. So.
Well, but we all have our shortcomings.
I would give you that he was better than I thought he was going to be once he gave the explanation why. And if he would have stuck with just the people that he thought he was mercy killing, I would have been I would have admitted that Shannon was right and I was wrong. But killing like Sam, for example, because she got in his way, trying to kill Dex because he found out the secrets. No.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't their personality count for anything either? I mean, doesn't it give you any kind of satisfaction that certain people are just gone? Just like I remember when the first time when they sent me away, I shot somebody, Donnell, and I said, that's enough out of you. It was just like, shut up. No, you shot him.
I thought we were at least going to be able to settle that, okay, we're both right, until we saw that he was collecting the hospital bracelets.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, that means that it was, yeah, that put it more in her favor.
Well, hopefully he'll come back as someone who will have a chance to work on his shortcomings and become the person that he's
doing coming out of jail. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believed the fact that he was, found faith and was redeemed and had his radio show and was leading the Bible groups and stuff like that. Like I believed that because that can happen and it's nice to see. And then he wound up killing people. I
believed it too, because as an actor, you have to. Mm-hmm. You can't lie. Lying just looks like bad acting. So it's like, no, I'm in this all the way. I'm going for it. It's me and Jesus.
Yep.
Well.
So like I'd seen you in other things too. So like I've watched New Girl and I saw you as Remy and I was like, no, he's so funny. I'm like, he's such a goofball. And I showed her one of the episodes where you were trying to have a three-way with Nick and Jess. And she's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm not taking this seriously that he's killing people.
Yeah. And then when they suggested a four-way, I said, no, that's weird. Right?
Yep.
Oh, man, we're all
Cyrus,
just Cyrus. They just had to get rid of him. They just had to get rid of him.
He really did a lot in a very relatively short amount of time. I mean, you came in as a drug dealer and
almost killed Sasha.
Yeah, almost killed Sasha.
Right. I tried to kill Sasha. I told Johnny to just dump her, and then he ended up having a baby with her. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, no one listens to me.
So what made you, did they approach you about General Hospital? Did you audition for it? Did they?
It was January 2020. So it was just before lockdown. My manager came to me and said, there's this thing. It's like maybe a 6-month arc. Are you interested? I said, oh, yeah. Because when I started acting, soap operas were like it was a different cast, a different class, it was like the caste system. Like these are the better people, and these are not quite such good people. And I mean, I got the first jobs that I did to get my SAG card were on soap operas. I did a couple of one-day jobs, and I just said, yeah, what the hell? I'm not doing anything. And then they just offered it to me, and God, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was so much fun. And clearly, I did something right, because that 6 months turned into almost 5 years. So, it did turn into 5 years, except with a little time off there in the middle where I was away in prison.
Mm-hmm. Common thing that happens though with a lot of characters, they go to jail or they go on their honeymoon for 6 months and stuff like that, and then they come back.
They go away to college or
Yeah. So it sounds like then they didn't have the intention when they started that you were going to be Laura's brother.
No. And that was what they put in there to give me a reason to hang around.
Okay.
And to get to play with Michael Knight too. And it was such a great storyline. This truly reprehensible character who has the need for family and some mommy issues. Yeah. So it was a hoot.
Well, yeah. I mean, all he wanted to do, and that was actually the reason why he started killing, is because he just wanted to be able to help his mom, and he thought that Martin was doing the wrong thing by making her stay alive when she was suffering. And just seeing that pretty much to the end. I loved your last line too, with the "now you're the murderer" to Joss. Like, I thought that was great. But
I thought
that's
so
how
too.
you went out. Yeah.
And it's I haven't seen it. How did it? Was it a good death?
You died very well. Yes.
Yeah, was there? Because I coughed some blood out just before I said that to her. Did that make it on air?
I think so.
I don't remember.
I don't think it got on her, but I think that it was a little bit out of the mouth.
You saw it come out, right?
I think so.
I guess
because you coughed and said, "Now you're the murderer."
Yeah. Because they waited too long to say action, and I was swallowing fake blood, and then finally, because I'm laying down and it's going down my throat, so a cough happened. I thought it was appropriate.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, is Joss who you would have picked to kill you?
I liked that they picked her. That was, because I would think, Sonny or Steve. Since he came back, and I figured, and I was messing with his son. But the fact that she was the one to do it, that made it. That was an interesting twist. And she's a gem. It was so much fun to work with her. We had a good time. Yeah. So it was.
You know why they had her kill you?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it gave her an interesting storyline, and because I guess without the relationship, I killed her boyfriend, they had to throw her in some other direction.
So they're using it as a launching pad for her to become part of the WSB. Her killing you proved that she has what it takes to be a spy.
Happy to be of service. Joss.
I thought that was an interesting launch, though, because, Rainn helped her find you. It wasn't necessarily all her detective work.
Right.
He kind of dropped the little breadcrumbs, and I don't think he thought she was going to kill you, though. I think he just thought she was going to find you, so.
It's, I'm not sure that everyone is aware of this, but none of us really know what the hell's going on except in our own storyline. And so I know that I've been in a lot of story that I have no idea what they're saying about me or what they're reporting about me. And so, I guess you'd have to ask the writers why they wanted to go that way. But
yeah, I just didn't know if you knew that's where it was going to go after that for her, that it was going to be.
I was kind of surprised as I was laying there dying and she was, or dead. I was clearly dead. When I told Michael Knight that they were killing Cyrus, he said, "Yeah, as long as they don't see the corpse, you can come back." And I said, "Yeah," and then they saw the corpse and both of them checked my pulse and said, "No, he's dead." So he's pretty dead.
Doesn't mean anything. Victor Cassadine was shot and blown up, and he still came back. So
well, and I could just come back and haunt her. She needs some haunting, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
I could be the voice of her conscience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like that.
I think letters should be written.
Mm-hmm. And we'll joke around about it, and then we had someone write in. They're like, someone definitely has to be listening because really obscure things would have happened that I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. Or the way that I jokingly said Monica's lovers one time, and I said lovers, and then somebody on the show said it the same way in the same reference, and I'm like, that's never been done on the show before, and suddenly someone saying lovers, but we've talked to other cast members who have said, they had no idea. We've gone to those fan events, and they'll talk to each other, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you were doing that. I didn't know you were doing that." And
it's really a completely, it's a unique art form, and I actually, everyone who comes from nighttime television or episodic or films who works on soaps go like, "Oh my God, I have so much respect for these people." My last day was January 15th. I shot 5 episodes that day. Wow. I had, I think, 40 pages of dialogue, and it's one time. It's one time, 4 cameras, and 40 pages of dialogue on an episodic show. You shout 8, 10, 12 pages a day.
Yeah.
They shoot 120 pages every day. And I know one time, I think it was Finn had 60 some pages in one day.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, how do you do that? Well, it's a skill. It's a skill set that you have to develop, and it was so much fun to develop it, and then to find the way to give yourself permission to really not know what's going to happen as an actor and just let it play itself out. It's really scary in the best possible way.
What made you want to become an actor?
I was in a rock and roll band called The Walking Wounded, and I was the band broke up, and my girlfriend and I broke up, and I worked at an office job. Very first and last time I ever did that. I'm not really office job material, my life was just kind of lost, and I was lost, and I remembered that when I was in college, I didn't graduate, but I went for quite a while. I remember the things made sense. You started something, you had an experience, and then you finished it. And it was like there was an accomplishment. And you knew what you were doing, at least for a couple of months. And so I just started at this office. I was with a bunch of other temporary paralegals, and a lot of people my age, and I just said, yeah, I'm looking I want to do a class of something, and this woman said, I go to this acting class. I think you'd enjoy it. And so I went to this acting class, and I saw these people doing this thing called repetition exercise. It's a Meisner technique where you put all your attention on the other person, and your emotional life sort of exposes itself or expresses itself. And it was like everything that it felt like to be me suddenly made sense, because you put it up there and it's art. You put it in here, it's just torture. And it was like, oh man, I'm in. So it was just it was, I just saw it at exactly the right time, and it started the process of me beginning to heal what I was carrying around, which was a lot of darkness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow, that's beautiful. I like that. If it's out, it's art. If it's in, it's torture. I mean, that's very true.
Yeah, because it's the truth is that it's the job of any of us, but any artist or any performer. It's our job to find an experience of flow so that life moves through us, and other people can experience life by watching this expression of life and enliven that same thing within themselves. And it's just different flavors of life. This might be rage life, this might be sorrow life, this might be passionate life, but it's life. And you can see it as just life up there, but when it's stuck inside you, it defines you in a way that you can't escape. At least when you're young and dumb and psychologically uninformed. Yeah.
My son's graduating from college with a degree in animation, and he does a lot of, I do check in on him sometimes because he draws a lot of stuff and it tends to be really dark. And he's like, Mom, I am fine. I'm like, okay, I'm just making sure that you're still, good. Like, he does therapy and all that, but he just tends to do that type, like that style and everything. And it's just, he can do other stuff, but like when it comes to his choices and everything, things tend to be a little bit more darker. And it's hard to kind of like think about why,
Well, it's if one of the points of life is to, become consistently more alive, and consistently more free, and consistently more just willing to be who and what you are, you've got to have some way of exploring the parts that are hidden from you.
Yeah.
And they get hidden because, your parents didn't approve of them, or because society didn't approve of them, or because, you got shamed for them somewhere along the line. Yeah. But and then those things that are pushed away gain even more power because you're pushing them away.
Yeah.
Carl Jung said something like, you spend the first half of life putting everything into a large bag, and then the second half of life pulling it out. So I guess that your artist friend is just pulling it out and looking at it.
Yeah. Well, it's my son.
Oh, your son. This is your son. That's fantastic.
Yeah. He's but it's sometimes tough to, and he's okay. Like, and he's such a good kid. I mean, he's like one of the sweetest kids. And I'm like, are you okay? Because like, this is a lot of dark stuff that you're doing. And he's like, yeah, I just like it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, but just let me know if anything's ever not okay. Like, if you are trying to reach something, I guess. You need to. But he just does. But I think that you might be onto something where it's like opposite of what he's living. So it's kind of like he's looking at, because like he makes horror stuff, and I'm not. But that's the thing. I can do true crime. Like, I can watch 2020 and Dateline all day. I got addicted when I started watching Matlock as a kid. Like, that was my first intro, right, and then I was solving those crimes. So it's like, that's probably just his, exploring that part that he doesn't really probably have actual exposure to.
Well, and you know what? And also, as I've grown older and studied just what life looks like to me, we come in with an assignment, and we come in holding stuff that hasn't been yet worked out from other lifetimes. And, even if you don't believe in multiple lifetimes, it's undeniable when you looked into the eyes of your son when he was first born. It was like, oh, he's been somewhere, right? It wasn't like, it's not a blank slate there. There's a personality.
He told me something when he was still little. I want to say he was maybe like 5 or 6. And he said, when he was in my belly, he memorized my soul. I know. This kid has been like 50 since he was 2. It's
wow.
Yeah. And it was one of the sweetest things. And that, like, he thinks about it, is what he said. Like, whenever he was like trying to think of something, he's like, I memorized your soul when I was in your belly. I'm like, that is really beautiful thought, because you do, it's babies react to how things are going on with mom. And yeah.
Oh, that is so sweet.
It is. You've played like a really broad range too of, like, you have the goofy, like, you're not obviously a serial killer like Cyrus. You had to tap into something there. Breaking news. No, like, you had to tap into something to kind of figure that out. How was Cyrus going to be? Like, how are all your characters, how are they going to be?
Well, it's the one of the important things about any character is finding out what motivates them, what is their need, and the need of someone like Cyrus is to, collect as much power as possible, because he probably feels, well, it's like Cyrus killed his father. This is the storyline they came up with, accidentally. Killed his father, and then his mother threw him out of the house, and he never saw her again. And he just wanted to win her back. And it was like, that was too big a mountain to climb, even though he kept trying. And it was just absent having, your true self being held. You have to go for what's on the more surface, and that becomes just the survival instinct of, get as much power as possible, so that you're more powerful than everything and everyone else, which, as we can see on the world stage, is just like there's never enough. It's insatiable, know. So that's what it was. It was Cyrus is just someone who was so damaged inside and could never get that part of himself filled or even touched. He had to get power over other people, and if you can't find love, I guess you got to settle for power.
Getting a lot of quotes out of this. I talk a lot.
You're good. Has there been a favorite character that you've had to play?
I've just been looking back. I'm writing my memoir right now.
Okay.
And so I've been looking at some of the things that I've done. And one character that I just really love was from the movie Tank Girl. And Tank Girl was like a punk comic book from English comic book from the 80s, I think. And I played this character Booga, who was a manufactured warrior from the DNA of a kangaroo and a human. And Ice-T was another one. And Reggie Cathy, whom you would recognize, and Scott Coffey. And we were all these Rippers. We were called Rippers. And we partnered with Lori Petty as Tank Girl and Naomi Watts as Jet Girl to fight the bad guys, Malcolm McDowell, who had taken possession of all the water in the world. And Booga was, he was, there's a scene where you find out that all these kangaroo humans knew who they were in their last life. And it turns out my character was a dog, but I was really good, so I got to move up to human status, sort of. And, so I played this character as if it were I had a Newfoundland when I was a kid, and so I thought this character was my Newfoundland. And and it was just a gas. It was so much fun. And so it was funny and sweet and charming, and not just me, but everybody in that configuration of the Rippers and the two women. So that was a lot of fun. And then I did a pilot in 2015 or 2016 called His Wives and Daughters, where I played a country western singer with, several wives and a few daughters. And I was describing the character to my son, and he said, "Well, Dad, that's you." And except for the daughters part. Because he had a little problem with alcohol and a little too much fun and a little too much romance, and it got picked up, and then the network got bought, and then it got dropped. So for a moment there, it was going to go, but it was one of my favorite scenes ever. It was directed by Steve Pink, who did Hot Tub Time Machine, and the start of the show is this character, Eddie Ray Banks, being interviewed, like behind the scenes kind of a thing. And we got done, and I said, "Oh, Pink, let's do one more. Ask me about my beads," because I was wearing some meditation beads. And he said, "Okay," got the crew back, and we turned on the camera. He says, "Tell us about the beads." And I said, "Oh, these? Yeah, I got these from Maharishi back in, I think it was 72. He said, "Maharishi?" I said, "Yeah, he taught me how to meditate." And I picked up my glass of scotch and said, "That and a little bit of booze gets you through just about anything." And they opened the show with that scene. It was just, so that was like all of my lifetimes coming together in one moment, and getting to make fun of it and have fun with it all at the same time. So
the show was going to be a comedy?
It was a comedy. It was a comedy. Yeah, it was.
So off of that, did you actually study with the Maharishi?
I did not. I studied with someone who studied with the Maharishi.
Okay. I'm a big Beatles fan, so I was gonna have a lot of questions about that.
And do you meditate?
I do a little bit, not that much, but I do read your emails most days. I do a lot of prayer. I like to do yoga. So I definitely am very much. So we live in Pittsburgh, so we don't get a lot of very warm days, but I don't like having shoes on as much as possible, and just having my feet and my toes in the ground and being grounded as much as possible. And I'll do sound baths occasionally. Those are fun.
You belong here. Next to me, about to jump into the sea on an army coast-steering expedition. What's your gut saying? Walk away from the edge? Or jump in and join a team that'll be by your side for life? Still listening? You belong here. Army, recruiting now. Search Army jobs.
Right on, yeah.
I love connecting to nature, so.
And Pittsburgh, my son went to Carnegie Mellon. That's I love that town. He loved it too. Yeah. Wow.
I went to Pitt, which was right down the road. So.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
I drove past.
We're in the same area. Yeah. No, that's really cool. I was gonna ask Beatles questions, but we don't have to do that.
Well, just to David Lynch just passed away, and he too was a big TMer, and as much trouble as the Beatles later had, or some of them later had, with Maharishi, the technique that he gave them, Ringo and Paul are still using it, because it's a technique that allows you to get some freedom from your thinking, and oh my God, it was such a gift to me when I was able to find some freedom from my thinking, because my thinking was not pleasant when I learned how to meditate. So
yeah, I do a lot of guided meditations because I'm still not really good at not thinking. So I have to listen to somebody else talking
one day you'll come and listen to one of my introductory talks, and you'll learn that no one can make their mind stop thinking. That's not the point. But if you have
my husband.
if you have a mantra, then the mantra guides your mind to a place that is beyond the thinking, and you don't have to control the thinking. It's just sort of like, you remember when your son was 4 years old and he just chattered all the time, and you didn't really have to pay attention to him except every once in a while when he was about to stick a fork in a socket or something like that. Yeah. And the rest of the time you just go, yeah, okay. And that's sort of what your thoughts are. And most of the time, and a mantra in meditation will help you get to the place where you can actually experience them as just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I've watched a couple of your, we actually just watched one before hopping on, because you're working with Rainn Wilson on Soul Boom.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah. He just wants to save the world. He just wants to, he's like, can't we all just get along? Come on, this is the good stuff. Let's be nice to each other, and here's why, and here's how, and I love him. He's, I have so much respect for what he's doing, and I couldn't be happier that I get to be a small part of that whole universe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm listening. I'm absorbing. I'm enjoying the conversation.
I'm nerding out. That's what I nerd out. No, but you're right. I mean, and he's a great example of when celebrities really take their power of influence and he was Dwight, that's how he got the following that he has. And he's taken it as, all right, I can actually speak some really positive words, and he did that. Wasn't it a documentary that he did? It was exploring like a whole bunch of stuff. And then I think that's actually what led to him doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Was just going out and experiencing the world, and now he's turned into this. And I know he had a lot of regard for you, and that's why he was excited to work with you. I mean, I've never spoken with him, but that's what I have.
Well, it's so it would seem. Yeah. I mean, I wrote a book, and he'd always been a fan, and he wrote the foreword to the book, and then and we just stayed in touch, and then he had me on his podcast, and that interview just was really, really powerful for both of us, and then that led to him saying, "Why don't we have you do something, just like short pieces of something?" And we came up with that idea, and we're going. It's been on hiatus. I was in India for a month. But we're getting started back up again this week, and it's going to take on a slightly different configuration. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But thanks for watching.
Yeah. Well, tell us about India. What were you doing in India?
Well, I took a group of about 16 people over there to visit some temples in Varanasi, which is like this ancient city. It's been permanently occupied for at least 5,000 years. And there are these really old temples there, and it's on the Ganges, and it's just this history that you can't imagine. And it's got the Vedic and Sanskrit university there. No Westerners are welcomed in either of those. And they've got there are these things called Ghat, Ghat, and it's these massive steps that go down to the river, and there are like almost 100 ghats along the river there, and 3 of them are burning ghats where bodies are burned every day, all day. And so between the university and the burning ghats, they call it the city of learning and burning. And it really shows you, you go visit one of these places where they're burning bodies, and you see really clearly that's not the person. Mm-hmm. And we're all going to end up there. Like no one here gets out alive. And so you really, you get introduced to death at early enough in life to like take advantage of knowing that it's not about how much power you have, to return to what we were talking about earlier. So that was one of the things. And then just, taking people to these different temples, and the place where Buddha gave his first talk is just outside of Varanasi. And then we went to this gathering called Kumbh Mela, which happens, Mahakumbh Mela, Great Kumbh Mela, happens once every 12 years. And it was a gathering of over the course of 6 weeks, there were over 400 million people that came through this. It's a religious festival. And so we had people there for about a week. And then after, so that was like a retreat of almost 2 weeks with those people. And then I went off on my own to South India to visit some places that I hadn't been to in almost 25 years and to speak to some people there that I just had. There were circles that wanted closing. And so I went down and did that and had some experiences. The difference between, you don't need to go to India to find an experience of the divine. But it's a place where, at least so far and up till now, the people there and the culture there knows that spirituality is the basis of everything else. Yeah. And everyone's life reflects that truth. And you can find whatever it is you need to find for your way into finding what matters to you. So I've been there over a dozen times now, and found some things I needed to find.
That's awesome.
Sounds beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to go on a trip to India with Cyrus?
Yes, I would love to go on a trip to India with Cyrus.
You know what? I shot those 5 episodes on the 15th of January, and on the 16th I left for India.
That's what I was wondering. Was that like your trips after that season was over? And
the next day, I didn't even have time to go like, oh, there's the end of a job. I won't see these people again. I was walking out to the parking lot because I had to get home and pack, and I just went, oh yeah, this is it. Oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool though. How did you get into, I guess, were you raised in that kind of a lifestyle, or is that something that you found later in life?
No, I was raised, Protestant. The idea of original sin, darkness and despair, and don't you dare enjoy yourself. You're not worthy of it. And I just, I had some experiences in my adolescence where I just went really dark because I wasn't worthy of life. And the only way to climb out of something like that is through spirituality. You can't fix that kind of, it's not brokenness, but it's missing the point of what life is. And having so much in your experience seeming to prove that you don't deserve to be here. And no one can talk you out of that, but you can walk out of that. But the only way is by finding light somewhere. And meditation and all sorts of things that look for what is here that's other than what you can touch and what you can see. It had, for me, it was just, there was too many aspects to fix. I needed to find one solution, one central truth that would allow the beginnings of shedding all the lies of unworthiness and darkness and not belonging and all of that. So I, just my life really has been about that. I mean, it's other things happen along the way, but that's what the organizing principle has been for at least the last 40 years. So, yeah.
Well, look at me. Go ahead.
What's your favorite genre to really, because it looks like you've pretty much done just about everything, TVs, movies, comedies, soaps, it's like, I was a big Buffy fan when I was younger, and I didn't realize that you were even on Buffy. I mean, you've done like a lot of like little tiny one-offs, a handful of episodes and things like that. That how you prefer to work, or, but General Hospital, like you said, you were on for almost 5 years? 5
years, off and on, yeah. I can find, I find the way of loving acting wherever I'm doing it. And there are certain, I guess feature films are kind of the place where you can bring more of yourself to the equation. In theater is also just, it takes everything to be on stage. And it's always changing, always different, and really a challenge to just, basically you're stepping out in front of a theater full of people and taking off your clothes and knowing that you don't look so good without clothes on. And it's like you do that every night, for however long you're doing the play. So there's a lot to be said for that. There's the challenge of that. And with soap, the challenge for me was, okay, you've got 40 pages of dialogue and you get to do each scene once without rehearsal. And can you get free of your self-consciousness? And can you just do as much homework as you can and learn your lines as well as you can and then just let it rip? And that was so much fun doing that. But, as just like talking about the motivation of the character and who the character is and all of that, you don't know who your character is going to be from one day to the next. So you got to kind of just stay loose with that part and just go with, what makes sense on a given day. So like feature film, you get to build a character, you get to ask yourself all the questions of why they're doing what they're doing and how you might be in that same situation and what is going to fulfill the vision of the filmmaker and bring it to life in a way that's uniquely your own. There's a movie coming out, I think, later this month or early April called Grassland. And we're going to, I guess I just talked to the producer, they're going to premiere it at least one theater, but then it's going to be streaming.
Do you belong here? Next to me, about to jump into the sea on an army coast-steering expedition. What's your gut saying? Walk away from the edge? Or jump in and join a team that'll be by your side for life? Still listening? You belong here. Army, recruiting now. Search Army jobs.
On all the major platforms, and that is, I've been doing this now for 45 years, and it's I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. And so I'm, and that is because it was a feature. And it wasn't an expensive feature, so we didn't have unlimited time. But I was with filmmakers who really cared about the process and cared about bringing as much reality to the story as possible. And a producer, David Goldblum, who actually he brought some convicts to set who had developed a practice in Massachusetts where they took responsibility for their crimes, and these were murderers. And they formed these circles where each one of them would bring something that mattered to them and put it in the center of the circle. And then they'd go around and talk about what they put in the center of the circle. It might be a picture of your family. It might be a doll that you grew up with. And so we did that with them, and it was anyone who wanted to do it could do it. And so it was actors and crew members and these convicts and their wives and girlfriends, and it was like we did that, and then going back to set, that was like on a Sunday afternoon, going back. That idea of being naked in front of people, you've already shown them your heart. Now everyone wants to support everyone else to put as much of that into the work as possible. And you are able to give yourself permission that you maybe weren't able to give yourself. It's all about finding permission. So the challenge in any of the mediums is to find permission in that medium that fits in that medium. And that's one of my most powerful experiences was on that Grassland. So I'm going to go with that's my favorite medium, and that's my favorite role so far. How about that?
Okay. So what is Grassland about then? So you
Grassland is about, it's a completely different character for me. It's this woman is raising her child. She's raising her child alone, and she's making. This is in the 80s, and she's making tinctures of marijuana and selling marijuana to people who are sick. But it's illegal. It's felony. It's Schedule I drug since the Nixon administration, and is still on the federal level. And she's got her son, and then this cop moves in downstairs, and he's raising his grandson, who's the same age, and he's raising his grandson because his daughter died of drug addiction. And he's just trying to get the kids together, and we're going to be great neighbors. And she's going like, "Oh my God, there's a cop, and I could go to prison," and and that plays itself out the way you would imagine it plays itself out. And it was actually the experience of it was co-directed by two guys, and it was the experience of one of them growing up. He was the boy. Mm-hmm. Whose mother raised him by selling pot, and we shot it in New Jersey and Montclair, New Jersey, and it was I'm just so proud of it, and I'm glad it's finally getting released. So.
That sounds really interesting. I was going to ask about, because you said that they brought in convicts from Massachusetts. I have half my family lives up there, so I was going to ask if it was filmed up there, but it wasn't.
No.
Cool.
But these guys were so successful that, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name of the organization, but they were so they were in the maximum security prison there in Mass, and their program was so successful that it exists in every Massachusetts prison. They've become they're supported now by the state. To bring this way of taking responsibility for your actions, and that's the number one thing that has to happen in order for someone to not end up back in prison is taking responsibility. So
Cyrus needed to go to jail in Massachusetts.
Because remember, he made he was working to make sure that people got rehabbed and didn't go back in. Oh my gosh, why is that word escaping me right now?
Which recidivism?
Yep, thank you. Well, I know way too much apparently about the Massachusetts prison system. They also did a program in the 70s where they worked on, it was like more co-ed, and it did not work out well. They wound up not, people would, if they got married, I can't remember the exact thing, but I actually found a paper about it, and it was in Framingham. And if they got married, they were then seen as more responsible, so then they could get out. So people would just get married.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, people just didn't get married for no good reason, just to be able to get out of jail early or anything. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least they're trying something.
Yeah. But it sounds like at least this has been successful. And I was trying to find what it might be called. That's pretty cool.
Well, I was waiting for you to try to read all the books behind him. Anytime there's a book on General Hospital just sitting on a table or behind someone, Shannon makes sure to take note of what book it is and then research if it's a real book and why she thinks that character would be reading it. So
this is an easy one. He owns his own books. So he has
all the books on General Hospital they're all real, and they've all been chosen for their color. So
there's some that make sense because Maxie has a lot of fashion ones at her house. Sunny has boxing, a lot of boxing and that kind of thing. But the Quartermains are all white.
Quartermains are all white. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That one just makes sense. Well, there was one time, I don't know if she was talking to you. Jeannie Francis's husband was on Star Trek, and she had a Star Trek book on her coffee table.
Oh my God. That's fantastic. See,
Yep.
this is great. I love that you do that. You're a nerd.
Okay, so now because you brought up the books, what's your favorite book that you've read? There's a
Well,
lot.
oh Jesus.
Or if you have a recommendation.
Or what? I'm sorry?
Or if you just have like a general recommendation.
A general recommendation. I do. Lord. Uh, there's a little book. It was Deepak Chopra's very first book. It's called Creating Affluence. And it's thin, it's easy to read. You can listen to it in an hour. He recorded it. Affluence comes from the French word affluer, which means to flow. And the book is a description of what it means about life if consciousness is the underlying truth of everything. And if we actually do, we are the makers of our own reality. And how might we change our reality? It's just kind of a little primer on, I teach Vedic meditation, and the Veda just says that consciousness is primary and everything is an expression of consciousness, much like scientists saying that the unified field is their imagined something out of which everything else arises. The Veda says that consciousness is that thing. And if consciousness is that thing and I want to change my life, then I change my consciousness. And if consciousness is that thing, it's only one thing. And that means that you and I aren't separate. We're the same thing, like different waves on the ocean, but we're both ocean. And the implications of that are profound and vast. And so just that book is actually like sort of a beginning into imagining that idea from a not woo-woo perspective. So I'm going to go with that one.
Non-woo-woo.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you guys.
Yes. So much for your time. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. What a delight. I hope I get to see you all again.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes, anytime. Yes. I'm not convinced that Cyrus is gone just yet. Even though they checked his pulse, they didn't have an official burial, which means you can come back at any time.
Going to bury him.
They didn't show us trying to hide the body.
Yeah.
Wow. Wouldn't it be great just to at least have a scene where there's only Laura and Michael show up? And I call people by their cast names and their real names. I
do that too.
Because I'm old. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right. So just go ahead. I'll give you a minute.
So Jeff said that I was right and you were wrong.
He didn't say I was wrong.
Okay.
He said that you were right.
I was right, which makes you wrong.
But then he agreed with part of our process.
Exactly. Yeah. We can all agree that Cyrus was a wounded soul because of issues with his mother, and those caused some of his actions. But like even you had to point out, he collected bracelets, which made him a serial killer. And that's not okay.
But we're still both going to stand by the fact that that was definitely an 11th hour change in his character.
No, wasn't.
Yes,
okay.
No, would have done everything.
So even after
it's the bracelet collection.
Talking to Jeff, we're not going to stop arguing about
no
Cyrus. No, right?
No, it was the collection of bracelets is what like really bothered me the most about how I wish they could have seriously just let it go where we would forever be arguing about this.
Looks like we're going to be anyway, but. Conversation.
I agree that with him collecting the bracelets, that meant right.
Yeah.
But it would have been such a great. We never got the answer because he went out that way.
Well, like we said, we didn't see the body get buried.
But now that everybody has listened to Jeff, does everyone at least understand where I'm coming from on that's what I would picture while I was watching Cyrus? So I'm picturing Jeff?
Yes.
And that's where I'm like, no, he's such a nice guy.
I understand. I understand it's hard to pull the character away from the person. And in that case, it was vice versa. I got it. Yes. But yeah, he was wonderful.
He was.
Yeah, I feel like I got exactly what I expected out of that interview. He was just awesome to hear his views on everything and where he started from and how he's ended up where he is.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to his new. He said that it's going to be coming out on. Let me Google real quick and see if it's on a Grassland or Grasslands streaming. TVguide.com. Nope, that was 2011. So we're going to say Grassland 2025. Grassland April 2025.
Oh, perfect.
It'll be released on streaming platforms is all that it says.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
But it's Grassland Film.
It sounded very interesting.
It does. We'll have to watch it and have to give it a review.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I guess join us on Monday as we recap this week's shows that won't have Cyrus in them.
Have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.
Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax
I meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
Hello, everyone. It's Olivia Coleman here. Seeing as none of you believe that I had nothing to do with the crumpet heist at Warburton's, I asked members of the public what they think about the whole thing.
Of course she didn't do it. She's far too lovely.
Oh, the incredibly successful but humble with it, Olivia Coleman. Only a blithering idiot would think that.
I mean, she's never done anything dodgy in her life.
See? So to all those people pointing fingers, you can either like it or lump it. Warburton's Crumpets. A national pleasure.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.